is reality? Reality is what we believe to be true about the nature of our surroundings. But how do we come to decide that true nature? Do we conceive it completely on our own? Or do other devices gently sway our thoughts onto a pre-decided path? This is the hard question we must all ask ourselves as free humans on this planet. Who sculpts your reality?
Reality. Hey guys, what's up? Wednesday night, know what time that is. Dan, why don't you go ahead and tell our wonderful viewers what time it is?
What's up, Conspiracy Land? It's time for Reality Brief. It's Wednesday night, and we have got a jam-packed week for you this week. We have so much stuff that, like, we thought that Trello was just going to, like, zero divide and crash and, like, you know.
It's all super cluttered and unorganized, so it's just going to be great.
Yeah, well, we have seriously made an art of just, like, sort of barely skidding by with
So,
just enough organization to have a show. But, hey, here we are.
Hey, what's going on?
We're not dead. It's a good week.
So, as you know, we are broadcasting live from the super secret undisclosed location here in snowy Hampton, Virginia. And we recently added 2 sponsors to the growing list this
Have we?
week, Dan. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell us about one of them?
Well, we just wanted to let you know that this week's show is sponsored by the new U.S. Space Force. Be all you can be and go sign up to go shoot aliens on strange planets that, people don't even know the names of yet. Let's see, we got the Denver Airport.
Denver Airport.
They have,
Fly here, fly often.
yeah.
And the District of Columbia Police Department. You can shout out to the men in blue. Anyway, what the fuck is going on this week, Dan?
Oh man, we've got all kinds of stuff. We got the
What happened to the 2.6 trillion Social Security Trust Fund?
Yeah,
Dan?
that's a whole lot of money. You guys know.
What happened to that?
Well, I'm assuming it probably went to go pay for a solar wardenship. But
Well, let's see what Forbes got to say about it. Forbes.
what's up, Forbes? Who wrote this? Meryl Matthews. Meryl Matthews, contributor.
What? All right. So anyway, here's how President Barack Obama answered CBS's Scott Pelley's question about whether he can guarantee that Social Security checks would go out on August 3rd, the day after the government is supposed to reach its debt limit. I cannot guarantee those checks. He included veterans and the disabled in addition to Social Security. Go out on August 3rd if we haven't resolved this issue, because there may simply not be the money in the coffers to do it. Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner echoed the president on CBS Face the Nation Sunday, implying that if a budget deal isn't reached by August 2nd, seniors might not get their Social Security checks. Wait a minute. Dan, what is this from?
Forbes.
This is from 2011, dude. What are you doing? Wait a minute. Timothy Geithner.
Yeah, I mean it's okay. So it's not exactly current, but yeah. It just
Hey,
goes to
look,
show
check it
that-
out. Check it out. This just happened in 2011.
It just goes to show that these budget holes like this open up all the time. Like this is
Look, the Social Security call for money has been missing for a long goddamn time, man. It's been much longer than 2011.
yeah. I mean, one of our early shows, we were talking about how, pretty much half of the GDP had gone missing, and there's, I can't imagine what they're spending this money on, apart from,
I mean, they could be spending this money on all types of shit. I mean, because it's not just secret space programs, and if you go along
deep
with the
underground
narrative,
military bases, of course.
if you
there's
go
that.
along
Those
with
are
the
expensive.
yeah, exactly, that kind of stuff, where you're going to need to hire private contractors here on Earth, because if you follow along with the space program narratives, they have an infrastructure set up. They don't need our money; they just use it to control us. So, that money could have went anywhere. Like, and you talk about all the money missing from the Pentagon too, specifically. It could have went. There's all types of black projects they run here on Earth. just extraction and then experiments and shit like that. Rendition centers, black sites, deep underground military bases, experimental aircraft, all types of shit it could have get spent on. So, what do you got there?
Well, this is the whole thing about the new Space Force.
Oh, it's they've been talking about this all last year, right? And they finally got it passed. So now it's like it's some kind of surprise to everybody or something. Oh yeah, we got the new Space Force.
Which,
Trump-
I mean, there's been a military Space Force for a long time. It's afspc.af.mil.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, there is a U.S. Space Command that's been under, I believe, the Air Force for a long time.
Yeah, the Air Force for a while.
Yeah. And so now Trump is talking about making Space Force its a whole own separate
Well,
thing.
first I would like to say that Trump doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about at all.
Of course he doesn't.
According to the legislation, and the people in charge of the Air Force and shit, they're looking to make it another branch of the Air Force similar to the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's what we're looking at. In comes Trump. I mean, really, the guy's. Can you really, honestly, take anything that comes out of his mouth seriously? I mean, I'm not trying to get on a big Trump-hating rant, and I'm not trying to turn this into fucking left-right partisan bullshit, because that's all a scam anyway.
No, we need guests for that.
It's just callers. So, but just look at the guy, man. What the fuck? How can you take what comes out of his mouth seriously? He's on the Twitter talking all kinds of ridiculous bullshit all the time, 24/7.
I think that's pretty much just what they hired him for.
Hey, just go up there and keep everybody entertained.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, what's it? The LA Times article reads, does the military need another branch? President Trump suggested on Tuesday, partially in jest, that there's a whole frontier waiting for armed patrol. Space is a war-fighting domain, just like land, sea, and air. He told members of the military at the U.S. Space Command Air Station in Miramar in San Diego, before adding that perhaps a Space Force would be next. We have the Air Force, we'll have the Space Force. We have the Army, the Navy. And while Trump initially said he was not really serious, but on second thought decided it could be a good idea. Whether or not a Space Force will ever be an American reality, it didn't take long for Twitter to light up with memes. And, of course, we've got all the Spaceballs and Starship Troopers memes. But, it really makes me wonder if this isn't some sort of attempt to take the stuff that's secret now and slowly sort of drip it into the mainstream.
That's what a lot of the people inside of the, I don't even know what to call it, man. The group of people claiming to be in the secret space program or
The secret
super
Space
soldier programs, Monarch, all that stuff. They're saying that
The secret space
This-
circuit. There we go.
the secret space circuit, this alliance, this so-called alliance that allegedly exists of good guys who've broken away from the evil people in the programs, and they've taken Trump up onto their ship and they've briefed him completely on the entire exopolitical situation, right? So, I mean, this is where I have kind of a problem, because it's like, all right, so that happens, and then Trump comes down back on Earth, and he still acts like Trump? I mean, wouldn't that kind of knowledge kind of fucking humble you a little bit or something? I mean,
I don't think anything could humble Trump, really. Like, I don't think that's like expecting something to humble him is like,
I don't know, man. I mean,
like,
that's no
I
kind
can't
of
even come up
solid.
with-
That's no kind of solid evidence of anything. It's just my gut, and I generally try to trust my gut. But whatever. I could be proven wrong, and which happens all the time. So, hey, we'll see what
But-
happens.
I actually do have it on good authority that this whole move is actually happening because of our show. It turns out that not only is Trump a huge fan of Reality Brief, he likes looking for the hidden keck in every in every week's thumbnail post.
You guys, you like them kecks? I like them kecks. So, I mean, like I said, they've been talking about this for a while, for all last year, pushing it through Congress and everything. So now, can you check on the status of the bill? Did he even sign it, or is are they still trying to get the Senate to pass it or something? Because I remember it passed the House.
I think they're still waiting on the Senate to pass it.
All right, so I mean, he's cheerleading for it, I guess, and trying to make it out like it's going to be some new branch of government or a new branch of military. Excuse me, same shit, whatever, force.
So
I don't
and
know.
It looks like Space
you know-
Command is already largely responsible for cyberspace and cyber warfare capabilities.
Mhm.
In addition to missile guidance systems and orbital weapons platforms and fun stuff like that.
So, and it's another interesting note is like some of the generals were like, we're against this. They were like, oh, we got it off just fine over here. So, I mean, maybe, hey, who knows? All I'm saying is don't get your hopes up because, it may not happen. But who knows? Maybe this may be the rollout of all the secret tech.
Yeah,
I-
and we've got a link. Well, and this is what's being tweeted from AF Space Command's Twitter account, which apparently, Trump's not the only one up on there.
She sent me a link to that, man.
Space has
put
been
it
in
up.
the news a lot lately. Watch it. AF Space CC General Raymond's testimony to the House Armed Services Committee, March 15th, 3:30 p.m. Learn more, and we got a link. So
The two-year
be
budget
sharing that.
agreement I just reached with
what this
Congress
dude
will
says.
provide $700 billion in defense funding this year, the largest ever, larger by far than any country has ever spent. And next year, we will raise that number to $716 billion. That's a lot of money. Even for you, that's a lot of money. We're also investing in our greatest weapon of all, our most powerful weapon, our most beautiful weapon, our most brilliant weapon, you. In 2019, we want to give you your largest pay raise in over a decade.
Okay, whatever. Way to clip
Hooray.
out. Way to clip out the relevant parts, guys.
yeah.
like we're supposed to do before we put together a show. Yeah. So what else we got up?
So we got Jeff Bezos from Amazon saying that he'll spend Amazon lottery winnings on space travel. And we believe this may be the first
This fucking
documented
guy.
case of reptilian cannibalism. Of, a reptilian eating another
What the hell is
reptilian.
this about, then?
But yeah, Jeff Bezos wants to make space travel as dynamic and entrepreneurial as the internet. The price of admission to space is very high, Bezos said Saturday night in New York, accepting the Buzz Aldrin Space Exploration Award at the Explorers Club.
Well, I think the
annual
most
dinner. I'm in the process of converting my Amazon lottery winnings into a much lower price of admission so we can go explore the solar system. Bezos said previously that he's funding rocket company Blue Origin LLC to the tune of $1 billion a year through the sale of Amazon stock. His comments at the event suggest that this may only be the start of his financial commitment to the project, which is developing reusable rockets. It looks like Musk is doing a pretty good job of that. His net worth is $131 billion, which with $125 billion of that in Amazon stock, and it keeps going up. His mom, Jackie Bezos, said during cocktail hour, his fortune has grown more than any other on the Bloomberg Billionaires Index this year. The Amazon chief executive officer wasn't the only billionaire at the glitzy event in the Marriott. Okay, nobody cares about that, but what's it? Here we go. What's it? West Coast industrial real estate tycoon Ed Roski and Frederick Paulson, a Swedish pharmaceutical titan and pole explorer, perused the tarantula, cockroach, and roasted iguana appetizers amid 1,200 guests, including James Lavelle, the first person to journey twice to the moon on Apollo 8 and 13. So, for some reason, the elites are all about eating some bugs.
Hey, man. So eat some lizards, build a clock under a mountain, make space travel free. Hey, you can build and eat whatever you want if you make space travel free, buddy.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's see.
What's the guy? The Pentagon guy.
Which
the Pentagon guy that was getting money from Harry Reid for that project, and he wants to build the inflatable hotels in space.
Oh, Bigelow.
Bigelow. What was his aerospace firm called?
Bigelow
It was
Aerospace.
just Bigelow.
Yeah.
All right. Derp. God, this is the worst.
It's the worst.
So, tell me about these pictures here, Dan.
This is just something I stumbled across on Rens, and it purports to be pictures of Solar Warden ships, albeit shitty ones. I mean, a lot of them just kind of look like clouds, but, I guess you can decide for yourselves
All right, well,
here on Reality Brief as to whether or not these are actually ships or what the hell these things are. Because
that's like a flea.
to me, that looks like it looks like some kind of weapons platform.
Man, it kind of looks a little similar to the Hive ships in Stargate Atlantis a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that. That looks like it could just be like a probe.
It's like
a,
Lex.
a normal satellite, the bluish one.
What is inside? Now, what I would like to know, and I suppose we could probably contact this guy who's putting these out, but exactly how far away this is. You know what I mean? Because he's filming it through a telescope, right?
What the conditions were when the pictures were taken.
Mm-hmm. It's just interesting, like to
That
get
one-
an estimate on size. This is Destiny.
Yeah. See, if you scroll back up, go back to that last one. See, it almost looks like some HR Giger shit on the outside of it to me.
It does.
Like,
But I mean, like, how?
but it's hard.
What
to
is it that we're looking at here, though? I mean, is this even an optical photo, or is this like some type of like you know,
infrared,
yeah,
shortwave,
or like some kind of frequency that we're looking at here? I mean,
yeah. See,
some of this shit's
none of-
pretty wild, man. And like,
none of them are really clear, and it's it seems hard for me to really tell, like, if these were ships, like what part of the ship am I looking at? Like,
dude, this looks like one of them giant ships. You know what I mean? Like,
it kind of reminds me of a Klingon vessel,
yeah, or tons of shit
like
shaped that way.
like
man.
a bop with no wings.
I mean that. I don't know.
See, that looks, at least on the back end of it, that looks like some kind of
Oh lordy.
some kind of pod bay or something on the backside of it.
I don't know. What do you guys think out there? Is anybody? Well, I guess there's some people watching. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Looks
So-
like he has a crack in its lens and it's refracted light. Wouldn't that be some fucked up shit?
Yeah.
Uh,
See,
that-
that one's kind of zooly right there.
yeah,
Like,
that is pretty zooey.
that looks like it might be something.
What's this? I don't know.
I mean, it kind of looks like the bridge, you know what I mean, or the command module or whatever.
Right. Keep in mind, we don't have any information on.
No
this-
context whatsoever on
Right.
this stuff.
Like, it just comes from rents.
Yeah, something we
So,
stumbled across.
Hey, whatever.
And apparently these images are copyrighted, so hey, rents.com, please don't sue us. We're giving you guys free web traffic here.
Now, I did see a video the other day, and it was like a montage of this, and it was talking about how people collect videos of this kind of stuff now via telescope and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ann Coulter,
Jeff Coulter, I think. Yeah.
is this from 1972?
No, this is from this is actually from 2015. See, I saw something about this guy on Vice not too long ago, and it was a more current update. But I think I stumbled across this article, and I think it told more about this guy and what he does. Doug Coulter. There we go. My bad.
This
So-
guy's in Virginia.
Yeah, apparently.
All right, so last week I drove up to Virginia. I was in Richmond for HEAS earlier this month to spend a day with Doug Coulter. I've known Doug for several years and occasionally looked on his website where he has made a concerted effort to focus and elevate the open source discussion of fusion above the noise that has become an issue for the Fuser.net fora of late. What's Fuser? I don't understand that. Okay. Doug showed up on my radar again
this
just
website.
before. Okay. Just before HEAS, after I posted this appeal to the Fuser community to, well, get serious about this line of inquiry. Shortly after that post, I got a message from one of the other regular visitors to the site, have a talk with Bill Fain, another Fuser HEAS regular. When you get there, about Doug. At HES, I did talk to Bill, who, it turns out, has been working closely with Doug for quite some time on his Fuser project, which Doug has been building for several years on his solar-powered, off-the-grid homestead in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains near Floyd, Virginia.
Nice.
We need to go to this place, this HEA.
Yeah. Well, and apparently they got a big festival out in Floyd now every year too, called Floyd Fest. So who knows?
Did they
That could
play
be fun.
Pink Floyd and eat mushrooms?
Probably, yeah.
Count me in. And what Bill told me got me as fired up on this topic as anything I've heard since I first got my attention more than 40 years ago. Damn, dude is a veteran. After talking to Bill, I visited Doug's website, where he's been entirely forthcoming about some recent experiments, if somewhat and understandably circumspect about the techniques involved. What? We made a ginormous, vaginormous breakthrough. Actually, we are approximately 100 billion neutrons per second with under 100 watt input. I don't know what that means, but it sounds fucking fancy as shit, man.
Yeah, 100 billion neutrons a second. Whoa.
Whoa, jump back. Literally and figuratively. When I read that, I had to get out a pencil and count the zeros. 100 billion is 10 to the 11th power. For comparison's sake, the most advanced amateur fusers like the one Richard Hull operates in the laboratory behind his house max out at between 1 and 2 million NS, or what was that, neutrons per second, or 10 to the 6th. If Doug's numbers are accurate, that means he's improved the performance of his fuser by not 1, not 2, but 5 orders of magnitude. So that's pretty sick. So this is cold fusion we're talking about here. Is this dude using like a GPU?
I think he probably builds a lot of his own electronics.
It looks hand-built. It looks like an edge board. All right. Here's showing me the prototype for the MusicAD, one of the very earliest digital audio processing boards. He said that some of the software he wrote can still be found in the kernel of modern digital audio workstations. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah, this
man.
guy's the man.
Fuck yeah, look at that fusion machine. Some pretty cool pictures. Is this the guy with the reactor in his basement? That same video?
No, it's not that guy. No, the salad spinner guy.
Yeah.
No, it's not salad spinner guy. Although I do love that guy. But yo, this guy's for real.
He ain't fucking around. So if you want to read more about that, you can go to fuser.net. Doug Coulter's solar power star in a jar.
Well, what's it? And there's an article about this guy on Vice not too long ago too, talking about how he wants to release this open source to the entire world once he has all the kinks worked out. A big problem is that he actually gave himself a pretty nasty dose of radiation poisoning. Yeah, here you go. In Doug's own words, a couple of 100 megawatts out for greater than 100 megawatts in, I think puts me at the Q record for all approaches for all time, and that feels pretty good once I got over the radiation sickness. Doug's almost casual reference to rad sickness is both a marker and a warning. Once a fuser starts generating that kind of neutron flux that Doug is reporting, it becomes rather, well, dangerous, if not downright lethal. If Doug reports, if the output was a surprise that he was not fully prepared for and the consequences were dire, at that level of output, I can't be in the room with the fuser for even a few seconds, as I found out the very hard way, and it took a while to recover from it. I'm pretty much a cowboy and don't care about spurious safety fears, but none of that, that was a real eye-opener, not to mention the amount of puke that I had to dispose of. No more than that, but now we go buy the book on rad safety, which takes what it takes. Now Doug has embarked on a project to create a remote-controlled facility for the fuser so that he can operate it and monitor the results from a safer distance. I'm simply moving across my campus to a safe distance and letting the air and inverse square law provide the necessary shielding. So, yeah, if it gets to the point where we do have widely distributed, microfusion type devices that are powering everyone's homes, there's going to have to be some pretty serious safety stuff going on with this.
Right. It's going to create a whole new field of occupation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's going to have to be a whole fleet of people trained in repairing and maintaining those things, because your average everyday person isn't going to be bothered to learn all that.
Mm-hmm.
You might have, obviously you're going to have some people that will, but, there's still going to be a huge business for that. And that's what I'm saying. People always talk about, you take away the oil and stuff, and it's just going to, the economy is just going blah, blah, blah. All these alternative fuels and stuff are going to create whole new industries.
Yeah. Well, and this alternative fuel is just water, it seems.
But it's still the technology to create it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It still has to be constructed, maintained, all that. Something breaks. Just like you get in your car, you don't pay no attention to how it works. You just drive it up there to the damn end of the road until it breaks, and then you bring it to me, and I pay attention to how it works, and then I fix it for you, right? I mean, it's going to be no different with that. When your heat breaks now, what do? You call the HVAC guy to come down and fix it for you. I mean, it's a whole new field. Now, what taking away the oil and gas would do would eliminate the monopoly that the elite have on us on energy. Basically, man, that between that and money, they got us under their thumb. Now, you remember Tom DeLonge, right? And this whole To the Stars Academy thing.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we got another release by Tom DeLonge. We're gonna go ahead and cut to that. It's about 2 minutes, and you know, there's been articles and stuff floating around, Facebook, whatever. Chain of custody documentation.
This shit's muted, yeah.
I know. I don't want to get popped for the music, so
Oh,
as soon
okay.
as it gets done doing this. Okay, it's captured by Raytheon Advanced. You will hear the actual U.S. fighter pilots who are highly trained observers and weapon systems operators in an excited state over the experience. There we go. I'm still going to get popped. What's with the creepy synth, man?
Yeah, it is kind of a creepy vibe.
This isn't the same thing, is it? That same video? What I done did. There we go. There's the video.
It takes some time to explain all this crap that we're looking at.
Echo 61 Tango, Roger, over. Roger, there's troubleshooting as soon as I get
Did you box moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at it fly.
I mean, it's cruising. And it ain't
Yeah,
stopping.
whatever it is, it's booking.
And I don't see nothing flapping. If the first time I watched it, I was looking at it, and at first I was like, "Oh, that's a bird, right? That's got to be a bird, right?"
Nah, ain't no bird.
and then like, you know, they lock onto it, and it's just booking, dude. It ain't no. It's just continual speed. I don't know, man. It's pretty damn interesting. It almost makes you wonder if it's a drone or something. Somebody was just fucking with them. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any kind of reference to how big that was. Do you get any kind of reference from that? You know,
I mean, it doesn't look like it's probably, I would guess, bigger than a car.
yeah, it doesn't look very big at all.
No. So, you know, I think that kind of fusion power, you know, we're definitely going to need that kind of stuff, like, you know, to not only just get past fossil fuels, but to make it to Type 2, man, or even Type 1. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And for the, you know, Type 1 is, you know, imagine like the Expanse. That's Type 1, where humanity has, you know, most of the solar system settled. Like, that would technically be Type 1. And
So, we, you know, if you take in consideration all the narratives, we are already Type 1.
yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Maybe bordering on Type 2, according to whose narrative you want to go with. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, Type 2 is what?
Type 2 would be like Star Trek.
What is this? We just got a hot tip in from one of our listeners. Hear Joshua talk about images in his daily podcast. Okay, it looks like some UFO clips. Let's go ahead and throw that up there for you guys, and then we'll get to the article I had planned. Here. So this, after the hurricane, due to Hurricane Maria, FEMA workmen lived to the beach next to Boca Raton, Puerto Rico in early March 2018. There was a mass sighting of a craft over the water. One engineer snapped this photo. It kind of looks like that thing that Tess was posting the other day.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
After the hurricane, Daniel shot this video footage of a helicopter flying over the beach. In less than a second, a silvery probe can be seen flying past the helicopter in frames 18, 18, 18, 19, and 18, 20. How is this speed possible? Girl, I don't even see it. That shit is going so fast. I don't even see it. Are you watching it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of, I see it. There's like a split second there. It really is just 3 frames.
Now, can you judge? I mean, is it possible that could be an insect real close to the camera?
It's possible,
I don't
but
know, man.
it doesn't seem like it because it does look like it's higher up.
It's hard to tell, though. It's hard to judge any kind of distance here.
Yeah, it is.
So here's a similar probe Daniel captured in the same area around this time. Since the hurricane, this boomerang-shaped object has been seen flying around the hills surrounding the Bay Area.
That is pretty damn weird.
I mean, what kind of
But it
camera is this, though?
It makes
It's what would fit the description of a TR-6, right? The big inflatable Air Force reconnaissance plane ship, whatever the fuck it is.
yeah, that would have to be really far off though. But yeah, I've seen schematics for those flying wing type shaped craft.
I mean, could that be some kind of like artifact, though?
Here, scroll down. That looks like some kind of artifact.
No, I mean photo artifact. As a descendant of the Taino Indians, Daniel
Taino.
Taihu. Who? Jesus, Dan.
What?
Okay, so this is a one-of-a-kind hand-carved flute. He plays it before he requests a UFO appearance. What? Hey, man.
Beats me, man.
No judgment here, man. Yeah, do your thing, dude.
I mean, it worked in Zelda, right?
Damn aliens love them flutes. I'm sorry, man. I'm not trying to make fun of the guy. I'm sure he really summons up aliens with his ocarina at a time.
He is Lord Diablo, master of the pan flute.
Okay, let me stop. Dan, I'm sinking. I
Yeah.
forgot what's next.
We have astronomers admitting that they were wrong. There are over 100 billion habitable Earth-like planets in our galaxy alone.
admitted they were wrong?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's a fucking miracle.
Although, caveat, it doesn't seem like there's any one particular scientist that fesses up to being wrong.
Oh, it's a consensus.
Yeah, it's a consensus of, a whole bunch of us were wrong. But yeah, this is coming from the spaceacademy.org. Estimates by astronomers indicate that there could be more than 100 billion Earth-like worlds in the Milky Way that could be home to life. Think that's a big number? According to astronomers, there are roughly 500 billion galaxies in the known universe, which means that
Holy
there's something
shit,
like
man.
5 times 10 to the 22nd power of habitable planets. Of course, that's if there's only just one universe. In fact, in our own Milky Way galaxy, experts now believe there are some 400 billion stars just in this galaxy. But this number may seem small, as some astrophysicists believe that stars in our galaxy could figure the trillion. This means that the Milky Way could be home to more than 100 billion planets. However, since astronomers aren't able to see our galaxy from the outside, they can't really know for sure the number of planets that the Milky Way is home to. So they can only really provide estimates. To do this, experts calculate our galaxy's mass and calculate how much of that mass is composed of stars. So they do a bunch of math, they run the Drake equations and whatnot, but that's basically what they come down to. There are some calculations which suggest that the Milky Way is home, on average, between 800 billion and 3.2 trillion planets. And there are some people that the number could be as high as 8 trillion. And furthermore, if we look at what NASA has to say, we'll find out how the space agency believes that there are at least 1,500 planets located within 50 light years of Earth. These conclusions are based on observations taken over a period of 6 years by the Probing Lensing Anomalies Network Planet Collaboration, founded in 1995.
Dude, there's so much life in this galaxy. It's ridiculous.
I hope so.
I guarantee
really
you,
hope
Dan.
so.
Come on, man. Just the numbers alone, dude.
Yeah. The study concluded that there are way more Earth-sized planets than there are Jupiter-sized worlds. In 2013, Dr. Phil Yock from the Department of Physics at University of Auckland said how Kepler finds Earth-sized planets that are quite close to their host stars, and astronomers estimate that there are around 17 billion planets like this in the Milky Way. These worlds are hotter than our planet, but some could be of a comparable temperature and therefore could be habitable if they were orbiting a cooler star like a red dwarf. Our proposal is to measure the number of Earth-mass planets orbiting stars at distances typically twice the Earth-Sun distance. Our planets will therefore be cooler than Earth. By interpolating between the Kepler and MOA results, we should obtain a pretty good estimate of the number of Earth-like habitable planets in the Milky Way. We predict a number in the order of 100 billion. Of course, it'll be a long way from measuring this number to actually finding inhabited planets, but it'll be a big step along the way. And this number seems to be increasing every year. So if we take a peek at the recent data provided by the Kepler space mission, we'll find how astronomers believe approximately 40 billion Earth-sized planets orbiting habitable zones of sun-like stars and red dwarfs in the Milky Way alone. Since NASA's Kepler was launched in 2009, the Space Telescope has discovered so far about 4,034 potential alien planets, of which 2,335 are verified exoplanets. Some astronomers say that 11 billion planets may be orbiting sun-like stars, while others believe this number is more like 100 billion. So either way, there's a ton of friggin' planets out there.
Don't nobody know nothing for real anyway.
And,
They might not even be planets. They could just be zeros and ones in the simulation.
if you
They
buy
didn't
into
even
the simulation
They didn't even
theory.
code it that far.
It's like No Man's Sky. They haven't loaded yet because nobody's discovered it. So in 2017, NASA made great progress in the search for alien planets. Their most noteworthy discovery was the solar system TRAPPIST-1, home to 7 Earth-like worlds, who may even be home to alien life. This particular solar system is very important, and apparently there's an Alpha Track outpost there, too. I'm not entirely sure if, in June 2017, NASA revealed a statement saying...
That's where they sent the Social Security money.
Yeah, exactly. TRAPPIST. In June of 2017, NASA revealed a statement saying that they discovered 10 new planets outside of our solar system that are very likely a similar size and temperature as Earth and may even have life developed on their surface. And that life may be coming here and hanging out under the Denver airport every once in a while.
Or coming to completely enslave and destroy us.
Or just occasionally eat an iguana or two.
Who knows? All right, so...
Speaking of things wearing skin suits...
No, I got this loaded up. This is what we were going to go to before.
I was going to say, how many of you guys know who Gina Haspel is?
You better get knowing her real good. So, Trump made some new appointments, and it turns out they weren't quite as down with the storm as everyone would have liked. And this lady isn't the only one. This is the one we're talking about at this particular moment. And I don't even believe that Trump made these appointments. So somebody told him who to pick, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that how
exactly.
it pretty much worked. You know what I mean? All right.
He's
So
just doing
new
what he's
CIA
told.
director Gina Haspel oversaw torture at a black site, then lost evidence of it. Ooh,
Lost
my
evidence
bad.
of it.
And what you mean, like wiped it, like with a rag? I wiped it with like cleaner and a rag. As chief of base of CIA black site in Thailand, Haspel oversaw the torture and waterboarding of Abu Zabadiah, who still hasn't been charged with a crime. You don't say. In another shakeup in Washington, Rex Tillerson is out as Secretary of State, and President Trump said he will promote CIA Chief Mike Pompeo to the position. Is that how you say that, Dan?
Yeah.
Trump has nominated Gina Haspel to replace Pompeo as the head of the CIA. Haspel famously ran the CIA's first black site prison in Thailand during the early days of the War on Terror. Well, I love your War on Terror. War of Terror.
Yeah.
Haspel has tortured people, overseen the torture of people, and destroyed the evidence of said torture. A quick reminder, torture isn't an effective method of intelligence gathering.
As you can tell, we've been subjecting you people to our show for close to a year now.
And we ain't
we've
learned
been,
nothing from you.
Yeah, we've been begging you to dial up and,
And you ain't
call
learned nothing from us.
757-528-8130. And, the torture that we have been subjecting all of you to has not really resulted in anybody calling in.
Speaking of calling in, guys, last week when we were having those issues with our guest, I figured out what it was. Guess what? You have to tell Windows it's okay for Skype to use your microphone for it to be able to use your microphone. Isn't
Well,
that
wonders
interesting?
never cease.
Isn't that interesting? Oh, crap. Where am I at?
We're talking about Zubeda.
No, I
and
know.
torture
I was trying to pull something up. Oh yeah, the phone number, but it's down there. Good.
You know what it is.
We know this because of cables the CIA declassified describing the torture. In August 2002, the CIA captured Abu Zubaydah, former manager of a training camp in Afghanistan, and began to torture him at a black site in Thailand, while Haspel was running it. The Senate's infamous torture report also details the torture of Zubaydah while he was in Haspel's custody. So, who cares, right? Whatever. Subject began crying as he was told we wanted information to stop operations against the U.S., cables read. Subject was told he could stop the process at any time. Subject continued with his appeal, and he was told that all he has and muttered, "Help me." Between 1250 and 1315, the waterboard technique was applied numerous times. Subject was put into a large box at 1317. To get a sense of Zubaydah's treatment, the Senate report mentions his name 1,343 times in 712 pages. And this is just the one, right? This is the one that slipped through the cracks that people
this
get
is-
to find out about.
This is the one you're hearing about.
Either
versus-
that or this is the one that they chose to present because it was the least offensive, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they waterboarded him a couple times. Ha, ha, ha. You remember the whole thing with the waterboard psyop and all that shit.
Yeah.
Torture's great.
Let's see. Beginning with the CIA's first detainee, Abu Zubaydah. You know what? We're just going to call him AZ from here out.
AZ.
So, continuing with numerous others, the CIA applied its enhanced interrogation techniques with significant repetition for days or weeks at a time. Interrogation techniques used such as slaps and wallings, slamming detainees against a wall were used in combination, frequently concurrent with sleep deprivation and or nudity. Records do not support CIA representations, and the CIA initially used an open, non-threatening approach. That interrogations began with the least coercive techniques possible and escalated to more coercive techniques only as necessary. The waterboarding technique was physically harmful, including convulsions and vomiting. Abu Zubaydah, for example, became completely unresponsive with bubbles rising through his open, full mouth. Internal CIA records describe the waterboarding of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed as evolving into a series of near drownings. On another day, subject was led to a small box and shut in there at 1349 hours. At 1412 hours, the subject could be heard sobbing, which continued for some time. When the CIA captured Zubaydah, he had 2 eyes. Now he has 1. He was waterboarded a total of 83 times. According to the Senate's torture report, CIA headquarters initially proposed that Zubaydah be kept in an all-white room that was lit 24 hours a day, that Zubaydah not be provided any amenities, that his sleep be disrupted, that the loud noise be constantly fed into his cell, and that only a small number of people interact with him. CIA records indicate that these proposals were based on the idea that such conditions would lead Zubaydah to develop a sense of learned helplessness.
All right, so basically, it's going to go on and on about torture before it finally gets to the experience with the waterboard was referenced in emails, but was not documented or otherwise noted in the CIA cables, the Senate report says. When 2 CIA headquarters officers later compared the interrogation video tapes to the Cape record, neither commented on this session. A review of the catalog videotapes, however, found that recordings of a 21-hour period, which included 2 waterbird sessions, were missing.
And now Gina Haspel
And she
will
was in
likely-
charge of the base and all that shit at the time.
Yeah. And remember when Trump was on the campaign trail, he said, I would bring back waterboarding, and I'd bring back a hell of a lot worse than waterboarding.
I mean, this whole thing turned into a big long spiel about torture. Hey, we know torture's fucked up. All right, get to the part where she did something fucked up. Other than that, you know what I mean? It's covering it up or whatever.
Oh, well, that's in a complete... we're sorry, Mario, but that information's in another article.
Bung, bung, bung.
This is coming from Law and Crime. Prosecutors reviewing request to issue arrest warrant for Trump's new CIA director. So as soon as she's appointed, they're trying to arrest this broad.
Dude, arrest her.
Federal prosecutors in Munich are currently reviewing a request to issue an arrest warrant for Gina Haspel. Donald Trump's recently new named director of the CIA. Haspel currently serves as the deputy
dang.
director of the CIA, and her nomination to head the agency must be approved by the U.S. Senate. Prior to her appointment as CIA deputy director, Haspel controversially ran a secret CIA prison in Thailand. So we just got done talking about that. On June 6th, the European Center for Constitutional and Human Rights, yeah, because Europe's got such a great track record when it comes to human rights, initiated a request for legal action against Haspel by filing an intervention with the German Federal Public Prosecutor, the foremost law enforcement agency in the Federal Republic of Germany. This office is led by Attorney General Peter Frank. ECCHR's legal intervention was made by way of a 6-page document entitled CIA Torture Submission on Gina Haspel to the German Federal Prosecutor. Frank's office confirmed that this request was received and was being formally reviewed. So now the Germans got a kink in their lederhosen over this lady getting promoted to whatever position she's in. And so this begs the question, is the deep state eating itself? Specifically, Haspel was in charge of CIA's Cat's Eye, a secret prison located in Thailand. Haspel allegedly oversaw the daily torture, and okay, so we already talked about all that. Torture is illegal under various international pacts and treaties to which the U.S. is bound as a state party. It's also illegal under U.S. domestic law. On April 16, 2009, then-President Obama announced blanket immunity for any and all U.S. officials engaged in the Bush administration's torture program. How about that? So, again, I can't tell if this is the second year of the Trump administration or like the 15th year of the Bush administration.
What was that one memo that came out around that time? That one guy about crushing children's testicles?
Oh, yeah, John Yoo.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah,
this is who is in charge of you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
These are the people who would call themselves your masters.
And people wonder why, I identify as an anarchist. Because fuck that. I am in control of me, not these fucking sick motherfuckers.
Although these sick motherfuckers do think that, if they need to get information out of you and crushing your child's testicles in front of you is the quickest way to do it, well, then that's what they're going to do.
Man. That's me
Yeah.
hitting the Alex Jones sound clip that's not playing. because
Sick.
It's not,
Disgusting. Scub.
Thanks, AJ, for chiming in.
So, as the war machine keeps turning, we turn an eye from Thailand to Afghanistan.
Oh, Afghanistan, huh? The graveyard of empires.
Uh-huh. And this is, remember the whole, we're going to invade Iraq and their oil is going to pay for the war, right? Well, here we go. Here we figure out how we're actually paying for being in Afghanistan for, 3 times as long as World War II? U.S. to extract minerals from Afghanistan to defray cost of U.S. assistance. The U.S. military has said that it's had its eyes on Afghan mineral deposits for some time. A 2007 Pentagon memo that the New York Times quoted in a 2010 article says that Afghanistan could be the Saudi Arabia of lithium. U.S. companies are taking on a larger role in extracting Afghanistan's enormous reserves of extremely valuable rare earth metals. Reuters reported after U.S. President Donald Trump met with his Afghan counterpart, Ashraf Ghani, on Thursday. And this is back from September, so this isn't exactly
check it
current,
out.
like this week news.
Check it out, Scrub. All right. They're not using the lithium for batteries. The big run on lithium is because they're spraying it on us. How do you like that? You heard it here first on Reality Brief. Completely vetted, thorough, and true.
So, yeah. Afghanistan has some of the world's largest unextracted
I mean, we
reserves
knew
of
it was
rare earth
about
metals.
we knew it was about that and drugs. I mean, it was about that the whole time, among other things.
Yeah, so
Strategic placement, pipelines, you name it, all kinds of shit wrapped up in that. It definitely wasn't no damn 9/11. I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
yeah, it was because they needed something like 9/11 to get that jumping. And there's a tie-in with their next article there too. So, stay right here. But yeah, the U.S. military has had its eyes on Afghani mineral deposits for some time. A 2007 Pentagon memo said that the New York Times, quoted in a 2010 article, says that so it's a Saudi Arabia of lithium. Some analysts believe that with a push for a greater U.S. presence in Afghanistan, mineral extraction could be a way of limiting the influence of China. With China, along with Russia and Iran, gaining greater regional influence, economic activities in the region are no longer the sole domain of U.S.-based companies. China and Afghanistan have already cooperated to an extent in mineral extraction, and China has made the country a center point of its planned Belt and Road Initiative, which seeks to commercially link Asia, the Middle East, Africa, and more recently, Latin America and the Caribbean. Afghanistan also has extensive oil reserves, with a new oil field having been discovered as recently as 2010. So, basically that's what we're in Afghanistan for, is the gold, the oil, the drugs, the lithium, the rare earth metals.
Strategic location, natural gas pipelines,
Mm-hmm.
you name it. And I'm sure there's more, too. It's probably like a secret Stargate under the mountain or some fucking crazy shit. Who knows, man?
A whole nest of reptilian babies. They're hanging out in Osama's old cave. But speaking of 9/11, and this is coming from PBS.
Well, like that means a fucking thing, man. The PBS, they survive on government money.
What? I'm just citing where the article comes from, Jerky Treat.
Okay, I thought you were making trying to make it sound like this is for real.
No,
All
I'm
right,
just saying,
anyway.
I like to identify our sources if that's cool.
No,
Well, I'm gonna anyhow.
No, we don't
I'm gonna
have
do
sources.
I'm
We
gonna
make
do
it
what
all
I
up.
want.
we make it all up.
Trump says it will be hard to unify the country without a major event.
Ooh,
I rate this article 9 out of 11.
Look, let me.
It might be an inside job.
9 out of 11 bombs. So look, this should scare you because when people start talking about this shit happens. I mean, look at the Project for the New American Century, right? It's a think tank, right? In 2000, a year before 9/11, 1 year, I think to the day, I want to say, they come out with this document called Rebuilding America's Defenses. In it, they say, right, America needs to be fighting multiple simultaneous theater wars, right? And developing bioweapons, race-specific bioweapons, all types of nice little shit. And you can find this document on the internet. It's still out there. But they say, but the only way we can get anybody to go along with this shit is to have some type of catalyzing Pearl Harbor type event. So whenever I hear someone in power talking like this, it scares the fucking shit out of me. Whether or not he's just talking out his ass or what, it's still scary to me. So I just want to preface that, and I'm not peddling fear porn or whatever. It just is what it is.
Yeah, man, keep an eye out for drills going on in various places in the country.
Hours before his first State of the Union, President Donald Trump said Tuesday that he wants to unite the country amid tremendous divisiveness, and hopes he can do so without a traumatic event affecting Americans. Trump spoke about creating a more united country during a lunch with a number of television news anchors. Trump said the United States has long been divided, including during the impeachment of former President Bill Clinton. Trump also said that Americans usually come together during times of suffering. I would love to be able to bring our country back into a great form of unity, Trump said. Without a major event where people pull together, it's kind of hard to do. But I would like to do it without that major event, because usually that major event is not a good thing. Hey, he's right there. Well, I guess we'll have to see what happens. The president also said the country's divisions date back to both Republican and Democratic administrations, citing the scandals that led to Clinton's impeachment by the House in '98. I want to see our country united. I want to bring our country back from a tremendous divisiveness, which has taken place not over 1 year, over many years, including the Bush years, not just Obama. Trump went on to say that uniting the people would also be hard because of the issues like health care, because some people want free health care paid by the government, and others want health care paid by private, where there's great competition. Comments came as President was putting the finishing touches on the first State of the Union Tuesday night. Did you ever see that reporter on air? And she's like doing a story like that, and then she started going like popcorn, butternuts, skizzle pop. That shit happens to me on a rig. According to White House official, Trump's speech will be about 50 minutes long and was written with help from H.R. McMaster. I mean, shit, with a name like H.R. McMaster, you gotta be a writing motherfucker, boy.
Yeah, a real hard ass.
H.R. McMaster, the National Security Advisor Rob Porter, the White House Staff Secretary Gary Kahn, and the Chief Economic Advisor Stephanie Miller. The Senior Policy Advisor and Ross Worthington and Vince Haley, who were both speech. Jesus Christ, how many people do you need to write your speech for you?
You need the best.
Oh my goodness, Lord. Are we coming up? We are coming up.
Still got a few
We
minutes.
got time for one more.
I think we do.
One more or a phone call? Anybody out there want to give us a call? Chime in with whatever's on your mind.
Here.
757.
528-8130.
Whoa.
In fact, I think this might be enough time to kill 2 bullet points. Hey, everybody, Stephen Hawking is dead.
Ooh. I mean, that kind of sucks, right?
It does, but it's pretty much like the only thing in the news today, so we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it here, but thought it was worth mentioning. Old Speaking Spell's dead.
Speaking spell.
I hate to say it, but, you know.
Damn, dude. Too
He should be
soon,
recognized for
man.
his contributions to the field of physics. Man had an amazing mind. You know, we know stuff now about space and the universe that we would have never known without his help.
Yeah.
So the world does owe him a debt.
Yeah,
I think.
I don't hate the guy. And, you know, it sucks he died, but I mean, I guess, yeah.
I really hope they had him backed up somewhere, because we have another article that we're going to get to in the next hour talking about exactly that.
But before we jump, what is DARPA doing in Ukraine?
Whatever the fuck they want.
Oh, whatever the fuck they want. Better believe it. This comes from the defensenews.com. Washington, DARPA. The Pentagon's high-tech office is working with the government of Ukraine to develop capabilities to help Kiev in its hybrid warfare challenge. So, DARPA's working for Ukraine now, huh?
Well, of
DARPA
course, we're more like DARPA's using the Ukraine as a puppet state in war games against the Russians.
Right, that, and I'm sure they're testing shit out. Like,
Well,
hey, you get to test this, and we don't have to take responsibility for
War
nothing.
games, both with and against the Russians.
DARPA director simultaneously.
Yeah.
DARPA director Stephen Walker, who recently took over the job after 5 years as the agency's deputy. We talked about that last month. Is when that happened? Told reporters that he had personally visited the country in 2016 for talks with Ukrainian military intel and industry leaders. We did have a good visit to the Ukraine, Walker said Thursday at a breakfast hosted by the Defense Writers Group. Yes, we have followed up with them, and though the U.S. European Command, we have started several projects with the Ukraine, mostly in the information space. So is that like me on the internet? Not providing them weapons or anything like that, or just telling them how to create artificial intelligence, killer cybernetic beings.
Oh no, Fedor is driving.
Fedor. Oh, silly Fedor, put down the vodka. Not providing them weapons or
Fedor,
anything
do
like
not
that.
aim gun at me.
No, but looking at how to help them with information, Walker added, before declining to go into further detail. Nah, that's it. It's enough. Ukraine has become a testing ground for hybrid warfare technologies from Russia and Russian-backed militant groups. Ever since Russia's invasion of Ukrainian territory in 2014, including disinformation campaigns. Well, you don't say.
Although if you ask the Russians, they're just taking their territory back.
Hey, you know what they say, man. One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like expecting Russia to let go of the Crimea is like expecting America to let go of like Florida.
Mississippi. While it has allowed Moscow to test out new capabilities and techniques, it also provides an opportunity to develop counter techniques, which may benefit the U.S. and its allies in the long term. I think we've got to get better as a country in information warfare and how we approach info warfare. I think there are capabilities that we need to improve upon, and DARPA is working in some of those areas. DARPA is working all of the areas. That is their mandate.
Simultaneously.
It's their mandate. Don't ever forget that. This is not the first tie between DARPA and Kiev. The Ukrainian government has hired Tony Tedder. You know, he made the Iron Man suit. He's got the big tower. He led DARPA for the entirety of G.W. Bush's administration to help lead a reorganization of their science and technology efforts. Something Tedder, in a LinkedIn post, said was necessary in part because so much of Ukraine's S&T facilities were territory seized by Russia. All right, so bottom line, DARPA's over there testing shit out at the expense of Ukraine, right?
Well, and in the Ukraine at the expense of the American citizens, at the expense of Ukraine.
Right. So how this plays into the overall geopolitical scheme, I don't know. I guess I would have to leave that to a smarter mind than mine, because I don't have a fucking clue. Anyway, that being said, time for us to jump to the break, guys.
We're taking a break. You should too. Go take a pee or smoke a cigarette or do something for like 10 minutes.
We'll be back in a little bit.
Yes.
Little bit. And when we get back, what do we got, Dan? Oh, no, we got all kinds
We
of
got
great
Narc
shit.
Squad. Geek Squad, being a bunch of narcs.
My bad.
We've got, let's see, the Russian spy guy who's in jail who's dead. We got, DARPA soldiers figuring out how to slow down biological processes.
And
We've
the
got
Seth Rich thing. Oh,
Seth
we need to
Rich
start
thing.
the hour out with that. I'm sure
Yeah,
they're
we got
probably...
we got Proxima B getting blasted by a tremendous dose of radiation. We've got brain uploads. We've got replicator tech. We've got probably more stuff than we can fit into an hour. So we're going to get to the important stuff first. Maybe even bionic kidneys and Jupiter porn.
What? That's just crazy.
Thought they would look to us, thought they would follow us, but we were wrong. Thought they would listen, thought they would see. pillar of virtue. Villainous animals will seek out and hurt you, distort you and twist you, and misrepresent you. Your elegant innocence has transformed you into a definite target of manipulations and greedy ravagings that blunder your purity, spoil your seed, shadow you under scrutiny, or hide you entirely from consensus reality. Veritas, one and only. Veritas, our own. Veritas. Seeking her endlessly, she's ever elusive. Further and further now, your source gets diluted, and the well is always deeper. How deep can you dive? How deep is your need to stare the truth in the eye? The truth is that you hide from her. You are vulnerable as you lied to yourself. Pitiable as you do. Veritas, one and only. Veritas, our own. Veritas, we will find you. We will know you. We will own you. Veritas. Control you. We will keep you hidden well.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the second hour. The hour of power.
It's a slightly better hour.
Because we're even more
Maybe.
tired than we were the hour before. How do you guys like that daylight savings time, huh?
Look, all I'm saying is sleep deprivation is a hell of a drug.
Let me get an amen for some daylight savings time, huh? So, if you like what you see, you could give us a click subscribe on the YouTube. We're on almost every damn week. Sometimes we do extracurricular activities with some people. You can check us out on Facebook. Give us a like, whatever, subscribe, whatever you do there. We got that awesome, wonderful Facebook group. You can join Reality Brief Exo News on Facebook. Bam, bam, bam. Get in there. Meet all the wonderful peeps. Post all the wonderful memes. Check out all the wonderful shit.
We got that super sweet Patreon thing. So if you really, really, really like what you see, like if it gets your jimmies all rustled up, you go on to Patreon and give us a little bit of, like 50 cents, maybe $1 every
Whatever.
month, a little something.
No, I don't
And
think they
if you
can
don't
do
want that repeating shit on your credit card, because Patreon can't just be a bunch of stand-up guys.
I think
who
we're
want
gonna
to
get
give
the fuck
somebody
off of
once.
Patreon anyway because they're being really shitty.
Are they?
Mhm.
All right. Well, then just go to Bandcamp. Screw them. Go to
Give
our
us a buck at Bandcamp, whatever.
Yeah.
We can do it like that. That's how
Yep.
we roll.
You can download one of our shows and pay whatever you want.
Or nothing at all, because we do give it away for free.
We do. And, you don't even really have to watch, because watching this show, I mean, it's worth watching, but
This
if
is
you just
motherfucker.
want to listen, you could just listen.
Hey, listen up.
Because I think we are primarily a radio type operation, right?
I mean, if you've been following the show for a while, it originally, well, I guess when we first launched Reality Brief, it was, kind of like a video podcast. But before that, I was doing another show similar, and it was initially a radio show only, audio only. And, the radio station kind of grew and the video thing took off. Then I started this show with Dan. And, we are where we're at today. Pretty soon we'll be a complete live television broadcast on CNN, getting all the big bucks from the Mossad and the government.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm ready. Come on, give me money, give me money, give me money. Anyway, because God knows how much disinformation we spread on this show constantly.
Yeah, who knows? I mean,
We never told you to fucking believe us.
We
Right?
just- we
Use
ju-
your noggin. Look this shit up.
yeah, we just provide a platform and read stuff off the internet that kind of interests us, and hope you guys will catch on.
Hey, whatever. It's all good, baby. So what we got up next? I think it was, the Rich family. That's right. So Seth Rich, the big conspiracy theory that he was shot.
Isn't he that guy that accidentally shot himself in the back?
Yeah, he accidentally shot himself. No. The District of Columbia police said that it was a botched robbery, and they shot him in the back and ran away and didn't take his wallet, nothing. Right? It's been alleged that he was the source of the leak to WikiLeaks for the DNC emails, right? And in hindsight, looking at it now, especially with Brazil and her fucking book, maybe it was her. Who knows? I'm not saying that I think this was a mugging gone wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm just
No,
open
this is
to
clearly
all.
a political
Look,
execution.
Slight possibility maybe that could be the chance. Easily, if it was proven to be the deal, then I'd be like, all right, I wouldn't take it to task if they found the guy and it turned out it was a botched robbery. But it seems like the framing of this is definitely a political hit, right? So anyway, we knew that the family didn't hire the private investigators, right? We knew that. We also knew that the family believed the police department, right? Obviously, that doesn't stop conspiracy theories, because that's not truth. It's truth, but it's not fact saying that it was a botch. Just because his family believes the police doesn't mean that I should believe the fucking police, because I do not believe the police about almost anything.
And even then, it doesn't necessarily mean that the family believes the police. It could just mean that they're playing along. Who knows?
So anyway, what we got here is some civil suit papers, right? Not exactly sure when they were filed, but it was just landed on this documentcloud.org on March 13th, right? So basically it's saying the families are bringing a suit against Fox News, Zimmerman, and Butowski. They say they intentionally exploited this tragedy, including through lies, misrepresentations, and half-truths, with disregard for the obvious harm that their actions would cause Joel and Mary. Because they were on Fox News saying that, hey, Seth Rich got capped because he was the DNC leaker. Right? Ronnie, you remember Ronnie, right?
Yeah, sort of.
All right, he was on he was on the Ron and Hill show. He was the host of the Ron and Hill show. And we had a conversation a while back, and he was saying that he thought it might be, I don't know if he said it was the Russians or what, but it was a ploy just to set this up to make it look like that, and it was a big conspiracy, right? So, hey, maybe that's possible. Who the fuck knows, man? We don't really have anything solid on this. We never did. All we can do is sit back and pretty much just speculate. I mean,
Yeah. All we
I'm
have
not
is wild
satisfied.
conjecture.
I'm not satisfied with the police report and their conclusions. Are you?
No, not really.
But what else do we got? We don't really have much, but, and I'm sorry that this family is legitimately feeling harmed enough to take Fox News to court over this shit. I'm sorry, but, just because they believe the police doesn't mean that everyone believes the police.
I typically never believe the police.
Me neither, but, to each their own, I suppose. I don't like to be infested by aliens either, and walk around in the Donnie suit. But to each their own. So you know what I'm saying? If you're in a Facebook group, you get that. All right, so what am I doing?
Bastards.
So that's the big revelations, and it's not really a revelation because we already knew that. Basically, everything that's going on. The only thing that's been revealed is now that they're suing Fox News, and I hope they fucking win, just because fuck Fox News, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
They can afford to give them some money. Why not? All right, so what was the thing where? Oh yeah, the fingerprints. Oh, fingerprints. No, it doesn't have to do with O.J. Simpson.
Although it is kind of funny how he basically just
No,
came
that's
out.
not it.
He basically just came out and admitted that he killed Nicole and Ron Goldman.
Yeah, I mean, didn't he write a book like that? Like, if I did it.
Yeah.
He's just still trying to. I mean, God, how far have you hit? Where is rock bottom when over 20 years later you're still trying to claim some sort of notoriety or fame for brutally murdering your wife and her boyfriend, like, and then getting away with it? And then what did he end up being in jail for? Beating up a fan over some collectibles or something?
Yeah, something stupid.
I swear to God, man.
So,
Anyway, scientists have detected traces of the earliest light in the universe. Sounds pretty exciting.
hot damn.
We just got sent this. Let's check it out. It's got a little video.
Don't sue us, CNN. Might want to mute it so we don't get TV smack from the audio.
Whatever.
Well, this is pretty cool. I kind of dig it.
Yeah.
Only 180 million years after the Big Bang.
Australia, eh? Oh, mate, it's Australia. So, I mean, according to some religious beliefs or, spiritual paths, they saw God, right?
I'm
I'm not saying to all.
no.
I'm saying to some.
No, they didn't see God. They just saw really old stars.
I'm not talking about your religious beliefs, Dan. Forget it.
It's just really
Scientists
old
have
light.
detected traces of the earliest light in the universe thought to emanate from the first stars formed after the Big Bang. The new report published in Nature February 28 said researchers found the fingerprint of the universe's first light as background radiation left on hydrogen.
Hot damn.
Pesky background hydrogen.
Well,
First time.
It makes me wonder if you have like alpha particle, like alpha radiation, like protons that are zinging from one side of the universe to the other. Will they eventually slow down enough to just turn into neutral hydrogen?
Yeah. Look, I was running away from work, all right? I didn't even get the chance to get in the shower. You guys leave me alone. Oh, shit. So the first time we've seen this signal this early in the universe, aside from... No, you didn't just read that.
No.
Aside from the afterglow of the Big Bang. Judd Bowman, an astronomer at Arizona State University who led the work, said in a statement, following the Big Bang, physics believe there was only darkness in the universe for about 180 million years, a period known by scientists as cosmic dark ages.
And I believe those dark ages can come again.
So there's a nice graphic. As the universe expanded, the soup of ionized plasma created by the Big Bang, slowly began to cool and form neutral hydrogen atoms, say physicists. Eventually, these were pulled together by gravity and ignited to form stars. Pretty interesting.
Sounds good to me.
So, it's of note. I mean, it's not like world-shattering, but it's of note, I think.
I think every major scientific advancement I think is of note.
Good looking out. Good looking out.
And
appreciate that.
So, one thing that we're real big here at Reality Brief on is replicators. You know, how long is it going to be until you can walk up to a little cubby hole in the wall and be like, tea, Earl Grey hot, and get your shit right then and there? Well, that'd be pretty cool, right?
I would not do that because tea Earl Grey hot sucks.
I like it. But, you know, maybe I'm just weird.
Where is it? What are you doing? You got it?
Yeah. What's it? Well, this is again coming from Forbes. So thanks, Forbes, for doing our show prep for us. Article by Eric Mack says a real-world Star Trek replicator is now possible thanks to clickbait article. Thanks to a new breakthrough. A startup with alumni from MIT and Yale says it's made a breakthrough in creating a next-generation material that should make it possible to 3D print literally anything out of thin air. New York-based Mattershift has managed to create large-scale carbon nanotube membranes that are able to combine and separate individual molecules. This technology gives us a level of control over the material world that we've never had before, said Mattershift founder and CEO Dr. Rob McGinnis in a release. For right now, we're working to remove CO2 from the air and turn it into fuels. This has already been done using conventional technology, but I think it'll be too expensive to be practical. Using our tech, I think we'll be able to produce carbon-zero gasoline, diesel, and jet fuels that are cheaper than fossil fuels. CNTs have been identified, carbon nanotubes, have been identified as just making sure you don't think CNT is a shorthand for something that could be considered offensive. Have been identified as holding promise for a number of potential applications, from better golf clubs, fuels, and medicines to far out concepts like space elevators. A study published this week in the Journal of Science Advances confirms that Mattershift's large CNT membranes perform as well as the small prototypes. So, what's the long story? Long story short on this, a molecular factory is a long-predicted technology that, in theory, should be able to accomplish some of what the replicator from Star Trek does. Not as cleanly on the show, at least not yet. Mattershift's approach is more about separating, combining molecules to form new raw materials, which is why creating fuels is a logical place to start. But as McGinnis points out, if there's no reason that more complex molecular factories can't be combined to become the future of manufacturing, then yes, eventually you may be able to serve up a drink out of thin air and at some point walk up to a future version of Alexa and ask it for tea Earl Grey hot.
Earl Grey
Yes,
hot.
and of course, we've got the
Earl
Picard
Grey
clip.
hot.
So
Earl Grey.
make that
Tea
shit
Earl
so,
Grey hot.
guys.
Tea. Earl Grey, perhaps.
Tea, Earl Grey, hot.
Tea Earl Grey hot.
Kapla.
Tea Earl Grey hot. Tea Earl Grey hot. Tea Earl Grey hot. Would you like some tea?
You know what's funny? How much money did he get paid to say that every time? I wonder. Has he got a sponsorship from Earl Grey?
Yeah, probably.
He's got the British Tea Company.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Star Trek, brought to you by the British Tea Company.
So earlier we talked about how we'd kind of hoped that they'd backed up Stephen Hawking, right? But no joke. Hey, for real, this could be some shit. Check this out. This is from the MIT Technology Review. A startup is pitching a mind uploading service that is 100% fatal. Nectomy will preserve your brain, but you have to be euthanized first.
Nectomy?
Yeah, Nectomy. Yeah, kind of like Crypto-me, but
Nectomy? It's like brain backup.
yep. So you want altered carbon? This is how you get altered carbon. The startup accelerator, or Y Combinator, is known for supporting audacious companies in its popular 3-month boot camp. There's never been anything quite like Nectomy, though. At next week, YC's Demo Days, Nectomy's co-founder, Robert McIntyre, is going to describe his technology for exquisitely preserving brains in microscopic detail using a high-tech embalming process. Then, the MIT graduate will make his sales pitch. As it says on his website, what if we told you that you could back up your mind? So yeah, Nectomy is going to preserve your brain and upload it. Its chemical solution may keep a body intact for hundreds of years, maybe thousands, as a statue of frozen glass. The idea that someday in the future, scientists will be able to scan your brick brain and turn it into a computer simulation, and that way somebody like you, not exactly you, will smell the flowers again in a data server somewhere. The story has a grisly twist, though. For Nectomy's procedure to work, it's essential that the brain be fresh. The company says its plan is to connect people with terminal illnesses to a heart-lung machine in order to pump its mix of scientific embalming fluids into the big carotid arteries in their necks while they're still alive, though under general anesthesia. The company has consulted with lawyers familiar with California's 2-year-old End-of-Life Option Act, which permits doctors to perform doctor-assisted suicide for terminal patients, and believes that service will be legal. The product is 100% fatal, says McIntyre, which is why we're
Or your money back.
uniquely suited amongst the Y Combinator companies.
Oh my
and
God,
get
man.
this, there's a waiting list.
Holy
Brain
shit.
uploading will be familiar to readers and of Ray Kurzweil's books or other futurist literature. You may already be convinced that immortality as a computer program is definitely going to be a thing. You may think transhumanism, the umbrella term for such ideas, is just high-tech religion preying on people's fear of death. But either way, you should pay attention to Nectomy. The company has won a large federal grant and is collaborating with Edward Boyden, a top neuroscientist at MIT, and its technique just claimed an $80,000 science prize for preserving a pig's brain so well that every synapse inside of it could be seen under an electron microscope. McIntyre, a computer scientist, and his co-founder, Michael McCanna, have been following the tech's entrepreneur handbook with ghoulish alacrity.
Oh, that's a cool picture.
The user experience will be identical to a physician-assisted suicide, he says. Product market fit is people believing that it works, which, I guess kind of works for, religion and government too.
So there you go. For how much is it? $10,000?
80 grand.
80 grand.
And
And a deposit of 10 grand.
Oh, yeah. Nectomy's storage service is not yet for sale and may not be for several years. Also, still lacking is evidence that memories can be found in dead tissue. But the company has found a way to test the market. Following the example of electric vehicle maker Tesla, it is sizing up demand by inviting prospective customers to join a waiting list for a deposit of only 10 grand, fully refundable if you change your mind.
I don't think it's possible, man.
Well, we shall see. There's a company called the Alcor Life Extension Foundation that holds more than 150 bodies and heads frozen in liquid nitrogen, including those of baseball great Ted Williams. But there's dispute over whether such cryonic techniques damage the brain, perhaps beyond repair. So, will Futurama-style heads in jars be a thing? We don't know yet.
Guess we'll find out.
But,
But you know what is going to be a thing?
a vote for Robot Nixon.
Oh, yeah. Robot. I'm not a crook.
People of Earth, put down your beer bongs and your crack pipes and listen up.
Bionic kidneys, that's a thing.
That's definitely going to be a thing.
The world's first bionic kidney is all set to replace dialysis in just 2 years. Not always can natural remedies be good for a medical condition despite how effective they are. Yeah, I guess if your organs are completely just fucked, ain't no amount of broccoli in the world gonna fix that.
Yo, I really need a pair of cyber lungs. I'm just saying, I have not been kind to my natural ones. So if anybody wants to start, tank growing me a set of cyber lungs, I'm all about it. Hurry
it's
that shit
coming,
up.
man. Sometimes, in serious conditions, we don't have them on this show. Only medical technology can help, such as in the case of kidney dialysis. Without hold on.
It doesn't work.
Oh, damn it. Without dialysis, a patient may not survive. And what makes the suffering greater is the waiting list for kidney transplants. Until now, a solution still remains elusive for the disease. But, and I stress but, this is where medical technology steps in and where scientists from the University of California in San Francisco have invented the world's first bionic kidney, which can replace damaged kidneys.
Don't you love how much time they spend polishing their own asses on these articles?
I know, man. And then the best is, it's the world's first that you're allowed to know about. The bionic kidney can be inserted through common surgery. The world's first bionic kidney can be inserted in the body in a common surgical procedure and has been proved to work efficiently. It is now proving to be the perfect replacement for a damaged kidney. The bionic kidney consists of several microchips, which is moved by the heart. The bionic kidney also filters out toxins from the blood in the same way as a normal kidney. So you got like a little slot that you got to open up and change your kidney filter? Like
Yeah,
an oil change every 3,000 miles? Like
That's some straight Eon Flux type
it's
shit.
like every 200 billion heartbeats. I mean, how many is that? I wouldn't even know. You got to change your filter. Members of the research team Shuvo Roy of the University of California and William H. Fissel
I wonder if that's an interesting new way of taking drugs, is by putting them in your kidney filter and popping them in and letting them filter straight in, into your body, straight in through your kidneys.
Oh, look, we got a nice little graphic to tell us how it works.
Hey, neat.
How the artificial kidney would work. Here, let me put it on a big one for you. UCSF scientists are building the world's first artificial kidney, which will be about the size of a coffee cup and could be ready for human testing in 5 years. If it's successful, the artificial kidney could replace the need for dialysis, transplant, blah, blah, blah. Okay. After entering the device, the patient's blood will pass through two components. The filter side. Silicone membranes will filter the blood, removing toxins. So silicone membranes. But yeah,
Silicon, not silicone.
My bad, silicon. So how does it get cleaned? You know what I mean? Like, it's going to have to require some kind of maintenance, man.
Mm-hmm.
On the cellular side, in the second stage, a bed of transplanted kidney cells will regulate the chemical balance of the blood. Toxins will be removed to the bladder as waste.
Neat.
Okay, so it filters it out and then pushes it in the bladder, much like a normal kidney, right?
Yep.
The main technology behind the bionic kidney is a microchip made by Silicon Nanotech and a process that is similar to microelectronics used in computers. The microchips are affordable and act as good filters. Each device will have about 15 microchips built in layers and will act as a scaffold that holds living renal cells, which will grow in and around the microchip filters. Wow, this is fucking intense, dude. This ain't no fucking artificial heart, man.
Yeah.
This shit is intense. The main challenge of the procedure is to push the blood through the device without clotting or damage. Biomedical engineer Amanda Bucks is using fluid dynamics to check that no area of the device will cause clotting or obstruct blood flow. It's pretty wild, man.
Hey, I'm impressed. Nice job. Nice job, Miss Bucks. Good work.
Hey, man. 0 rejection factor. I guess that was the last bullet point for why it's awesome.
Well, I'm sold. Sign me up.
No.
So, yeah. That's pretty wild. So you guys have heard of Geek Squad, right?
Oh, Geek Squad?
Yeah.
I got you.
So, well, this is a quickie. More like
Should I bother pulling it up?
Nah, I got it. More like Narc Squad. This is coming from Engadget. Electronic Freedom Foundation. Geek Squad has been working with the FBI for a decade. So, just so you know, the feds reportedly paid a Geek Squad tech for info at least once. And just skimming the article, it looks like the main thrust of this is looking for people with child porn. So, I mean, I don't really have a problem with going after those people, but the disturbing implications is that what if it stops? The government never stops.
Then the thing about the child porn shit is, it's an ancient secret, right? What do? They could put child porn on your computer and be like, "Oh, he's got child porn on his computer." They do this shit all the time.
Which, as you know, is you're only allowed to have that if you're like Jeffrey Epstein level or higher. But
yeah, I mean, so God knows, and this was. Who knows what they could be telling these people? This is why I don't bring my computer to Best Buy. Well, not really, just because I could fix it myself. Fuck them. But if I couldn't, I wouldn't want to bring it to Best Buy.
Yeah.
I'd go find a local computer shop or something because
it says the FBI classifies the Geek Squad technicians who call in the reports as informants, but some of the documents in EFF's possession suggest that they do more than report something they find. One shows that the feds paid at least one tech $500. And it's reportedly one of the payments involved in the child pornography case that compelled the EFF to file a Freedom of Information Act. The EFF says that by paying informants, the agency is encouraging technicians to actively look for content. Case in point, the technician who called in the evidence for the California doctor's case reportedly found it in an unallocated space on his computer. This suggests they didn't just stumble upon the evidence. They used software with the intention of finding files that were already deleted. The EFF says the relationship between the agency and the retailer potentially circumvents computer owners' Fourth Amendment rights. So it plans to go after other documents that the feds failed to produce for the FIOA that it filed.
So let that be a lesson. If you plan on bringing your shit over to the
Geek Squad,
don't have any kind of personal nothing on it. No dick pics or whatever.
Financial information.
Right, financial information, because these little bastards are gonna be going all through your shit.
Yep. And this is another quick aside. I think we got time for this. You guys ever heard of a guy named Leland Yee? He's a California state senator. Big fan of gun control, right? Super anti-Second Amendment Nazi bastard. Heading to prison for weapons trafficking. Yeah, so on the surface, the story of Leland Lee looks like a precipitous fall from grace. The 67-year-old had risen steadily in the ranks of Bay Area politics since the late 80s when he was elected to the San Francisco School Board. Then he also became the first Asian American speaker pro term in 2004, making him the second highest ranking Democrat in the California Assembly at the time. From 2006 on, he served as a state senator and was plotting a Secretary of State campaign when his political visions were curtailed by a federal indictment in March of 2014. So, yeah, it turns out that this guy was involved with accepting bribes and trafficking in arms. It was one thing to learn that Chow, a known convict, may have become embroiled in more objectionable schemes, but it was quite another to hear that Yee, a respected public figure, who had supposedly distanced himself from San Francisco's corrupt past, was being accused through the same under.
Don't you know that all public figures are respected and respectable?
So
look at that guy, you gun runner. You gun runner.
Yep. So never doubt that pretty much everything the feds do is fugazi. And this guy is no different.
Now, we've been keeping an eye on this Chinese space station for a while, right? And
Yeah, it counts as a UFO. It's an unexpected falling object.
So, you know, from the point that they decided to let it crash to when they were saying they were thinking it's going to crash to now, crash is imminent. And they're saying, will the free-falling 8.5-ton Chinese space station crash into Lower Michigan? Oh, fuck, man.
I'd rather it land on D.C., but I'll take what I can get.
Experts say that the state falls among the highest probability. The Tiangong-1 spacecraft has been out of control since September 2016. Agencies around the world have been monitoring the doomed aircraft's descent. Lower Michigan, among other regions, with the highest probability of being hit by debris. Experts from aerospace say it'll re-enter Earth on April 3rd, give or take a week. So it could come sooner, could go later. Around 10 to 40% of the satellite is expected to survive re-entry. Holy shit, man. That's like, you're talking 3.5 tons falling on your fucking Michigan.
Oh, I mean, you know.
Was there any kind of, like, how is that satellite powered? Solar, I would hope.
Yeah, they say it's
otherwise you got a big old
all sorts of toxic chemicals,
fucking plutonium spread all over, you know, Central America. Well, fucking great.
They say a precise landing location remains unclear. The European Space Agency has the latitudes between which it's likely to land. Countries at risk include Spain, Italy, Turkey, India, and parts of the U.S. ESA says no fragments will land higher than 43 north or no further south than 43 south.
It's almost like Dabo.
Yeah, really. I wonder if there's online betting pools on this yet. Because I know there's sites where you can place bets on shit. There's got to be a site where somebody's placing bets on what's going to get hit by Tiangong-1. And if you find out what those sites are, give us a call, 757-528-8130. I got $10 on Michigan.
We got time to get a call in. You guys, you want to talk? Hey, we'll talk about whatever. It's all good.
Nope. Nah,
so,
nobody wants to talk to us.
I know, we're boring.
But what's it? Oh yeah, Proxima B. So this is our closest stellar neighbor, right? Proxima Centauri B. This is coming from Futurism.com. Apparently, Proxima Centauri just had a massive solar flare. And now they're thinking that if there was life on Proxima Centauri, this solar flare might have been enough to end it.
Ooh. Ouch.
So we may have just witnessed our closest
you know what the
terrestrial neighbor get capped by its parent star.
You know what the scary thing about that is? Let's just say for a second that 100% everything Blue Chicken Commander is saying is 100% absolutely true, right? And each sun goes through a reset period where they put out this spew thing and it fucking ascends everyone or whatever, right? If that's what that was, you think we're gonna live through that shit?
Nope. They say
I guess it's all good because the Blue Chickens, they're gonna scoop us up, and they're gonna bring us to the what are they called?
It's going to be
What does he call them?
the Sphere Being Alliance.
No, the ones on the ground.
Oh, the Agarthans?
No, he calls it something else. The Anshar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Anshar are gonna come save us, right? Don't worry about it. It's
Yeah.
all good. Just buy the comic book. Let me stop, man. Let me stop.
March
Go ahead.
24th, 2017. It was no ordinary day for Proxima Centauri, said Meredith McGregor, an astronomer from Carnegie Institution for Science and a National Radio Astronomy Observatory press release. Her team found that the flare made Proxima Centauri 1,000 times brighter over the course of just 10 seconds. Though the entire event, including a smaller preceding flare, lasted than 2 minutes, it bathed little Proxima b with an estimated 4,000 times more radiation than Earth receives from the sun's usual flares. That's not great news for anything that may have been alive on the exoplanet's surface. It's likely that Proxima b was blasted by high-energy radiation during this flare. Over the billions of years since Proxima b formed, flares like this could have evaporated any atmosphere or ocean and sterilized the surface, suggesting that habitability may involve more than just being the right distance from the host star to have water. We already have powerful telescopes in development that promise to give us a closer look at Prox b, and missions designed to help us determine if it hosts life. Even if we find out that the exoplanet is uninhabitable, the knowledge could inform our search for life on planets beyond the Centauri system. So, yeah, it's very possible we just saw, everything alive on Proxima Centauri b just get, wiped. So that'd be fun.
Yeah, just fucking loads of fun, man. Like going to the damn circus or whatever with elephant torture and the whole nine.
And speaking of which,
Hold on, man. I want to go over this real quick. I already got it pulled up. Sorry.
all right, go for it.
So this is like what you would expect out of some secret space program shit right here. All right, DARPA, of course, have tested a BAE Systems, the Chemputer. You guys remember the Chemputer growing fucking drones in a vat of liquid?
Yep.
All right, so made onboard software that works to deliver information to operators and pilots in environments where communications can be disrupted. All right, so we're talking about a heads-up system here, right? This is the kind of shit that you would think that they have already, and they're just kind of like, and BAE Systems, just the computer shit alone, man. I mean, anyway, I just wanted to bring that up.
Semi-autonomous distributed battle management software.
Anti-access real-time mission management system.
It's designed to provide situational understanding and coordination support for teams of manned and unmanned aerial vehicles in contested environments.
So, and it's, I'm assuming, incorporating some type of AI. Because why wouldn't they, right?
Right.
All right, what were you going at, man? I'm sorry.
Well, speaking about solar flares and radiation in space, a lot of you guys have probably heard about Scott Kelly, the astronaut, right? Well, turns out Scott Kelly's a twin. He's got a twin brother. And after a year in space, he now has different DNA than his identical twin brother. And they got a picture of these two guys, Scott and Mark Kelly, identical twin brothers, at least until Scott spent a year living in space. When Scott Kelly returned to Earth after a 340-day voyage aboard the ISS, can you really call that a voyage? Because, I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's just right there above the Earth.
It's further than you ever been.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, is it really a voyage? It's more like a staycation. Anyhow, after a 340-day staycation above the ISS, he was 2 inches taller than he was when he had left. His body mass had decreased, his gut bacteria were completely different, and according to preliminary findings from NASA researchers, his genetic code had changed significantly.
That's because he was up there eating GMO freeze-dried astronaut snacks the whole goddamn time.
Well, and basically bathing in radiation. Interestingly, Scott Kelly has shrunk back down to his normal initial pre-space flight height. A new NASA statement suggests that the mental and physical stresses of Scott Kelly's year in orbit may have activated hundreds of space genes. Oh, that's cool. That altered the astronaut's immune system, bone formation, eyesight, and other bodily processes. While most of these genetic changes reverted to normal following Scott Kelly's return to Earth, about 7% of the astronaut's genetic code remained altered. Pray that we do not alter it further and may stay that way permanently. These changes are thought to be from the stresses of space travel,
Sorry.
which can cause changes in a cell's biological pathways. Such actions can trigger the assembly of new molecules, like a fat or a protein, cellular degradation, and can turn genes on or off, which changes other cellular functions. So this is coming from livescience.com, so we'll go ahead and post this for you at the Reality Brief page here in a little bit. We don't have a whole lot of time left, so we're just trying to pack, I think, as much good stuff into this last 15 minutes as we can.
Ooh, the bionic hand, the bionic hand, the bionic hand.
Really? We're going to do that? All right, cool.
We're going to do that.
And this is also coming from Futurism. Scientists unveil the first portable bionic hand with a sense of touch.
Man, that's just badass.
That shit is badass. I'll give you that. You know what? I think that's really cool.
It is, man.
A woman who lost her arm over 20 years ago has received the first portable bionic hand, which, through a series of tiny electrodes and sophisticated sensors, has restored her sense of touch. So it's not just a bionic hand, it's a bionic hand that feels like a hand.
The technology unites the portable bionic hand with a computer that translates information coming from artificial, get off my screen, fingers into a language the brain can understand, which it sends back to the body through the electrodes. So I guess they've kind of figured out a way to mimic, when you touch something, the nerve signals that go to your brain. I guess they figured out how to mimic that. That's pretty fucking badass, man. So this breakthrough is the result of many years of robotic research carried out by teams in Italy, Switzerland, and Germany. Even though she's central to this amazing innovation, Alamarina Mascarello, who was chosen to test the prototype for 6 months, doesn't feel like a superhuman. Instead, she told BBC that the prosthetic limb gave her back some of life's simple pleasures.
Oh, I'll bet.
Such as getting dressed or tying her shoes with no help. All mundane things, really, but important. Yeah, I mean, it would suck to all of a sudden not have a fucking arm.
Yeah, can you imagine not being able to wipe your ass or not being able to scratch your nose or any of the things that we take for granted?
So this big specialist guy from some big fancy university in Rome said, once you can control a robotic prosthesis with your brain, you can think about creating one that allows more complex movements than a hand with 5 fingers. Wow. Think about that. Now we're moving outside of the realm of replacement arm into, alteration
Upgrades.
beyond upgrades.
Upgrade?
2Ds for a double dose of pit. So, yeah. I mean, what could be some possible badass applications for that? I mean,
double thumbs. You
Man, I
have
want
a thumb on both sides of your hands to grab extra stuff.
yes, like this. Like, that's how they say the 3-fingered aliens work.
Yeah, like xenomorph hands.
So, that's a possibility, right? And also, I mean, I want goddamn air ratchet fingers. You know what I'm saying? That'll be work.
What's it? There's the good old USB thumbstick and a finger. USB device.
Yeah, there you go. I got 400,000 gigabytes.
What if you had if you have a sufficiently fast trigger finger, then automatically you're turning any semi-automatic weapon into a fully automatic one.
Yeah, but you can actually have a gun arm at that point.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what we're talking about here. Upgrades, not just like
Yeah, you could do all sorts of
Man,
nifty
you
ghost in the shell type shit with this.
man. And then if you combine that with the liquid that moves and shit,
Yeah.
oh, Terminator.
But I really am impressed by this though. Research. There's another guy, Dennis Abo Sorensen, who lost his hand into a 2004 firecracker explosion.
You dumbass.
Why are we giving these people cyber limbs? But for real, researchers found that Dennis was able to distinguish between a hard, soft, or medium object in 78% of cases. In 88% of cases, he could correctly describe the shape and size of a specific object, such as a baseball, a glass, or a tangerine. 3 years later, Almarino has been given the same ability just by carrying a small computer in a backpack.
Macarena.
The cyber hand lady.
Macarena. Whew. Yeah, I mean, I like cyber hands. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I want a cyber. Yeah, and it's going to get to that point where cyber limbs aren't just for people who have suffered horrible injuries. It's going to get to the point where people are just, getting upgrades for the sake of having an upgrade.
Cyber limbs. It's not just for parasitic AI anymore.
So let's see. What do you want to hit next?
Man, it
DARPA.
looks
Do you want to
just
do
about
civil
out.
asset forfeiture? The civil asset forfeiture is a big deal to me, man. I actually do want to talk about that because it pisses me off that this Mr. Magoo-looking motherfucker has so much control over. This guy looks like a Keebler elf. And not like
Oh
the
my
cool kind of
gosh.
Keebler elf that blows bowls, like the actual like makes cookies in the tree type Keebler elf. Like Session greenlights police to seize cash property from people suspected of crimes but not charged. So
He looks
now
like
the
he looks like a cheerful, cherubish Emperor Palpatine.
yeah. Like,
Like-
if you actually made a clone, a hybridized clone of half Emperor Palpatine and half Yoda,
Or Mr. Magoo.
yeah,
He's half
yeah.
Palpatine, half
people
Magoo.
thought Ron Paul was Mr. Magoo. No, this guy's fucking
This
Mr. Magoo.
motherfucker right here. Yeah, look at the ears, dude. All right.
So, but enough. Let's ridicule him for his policies, not just for how he looks.
He does look like a dude.
The Justice Department announced a new federal policy Wednesday to help state and local police take cash and property from common everyday citizens such as yourself that are suspected of a crime, even without a criminal charge, reversing an Obama administration rule prompted by past abuse of police. Deputy Attorney General Rod J. Rosenstein says that the Justice Department will have to include more safeguards to prevent the kind of problems that have been documented in the past. Yeah, right. Police departments will be required to provide details to the Justice Department about probable cause for seizures, and federal officials will have to more quickly inform property owners about their rights and the status of the seizures. So, it's basically a $65 million a year. You know, Americans had more property stolen by police last year than by criminals, actual other non.
Is
by
that,
pro-
is that a
public sector
legitimate? Is that a legitimate fact? Dan?
I think so.
Did you check Snopes?
No, I didn't check Snow. But it doesn't change the fact that the police are fucking thieves.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. So
It wouldn't surprise me, man.
yeah, we're gonna being as we are.
They
trying
made
to,
it. I remember. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I was reading articles about different county police using things like they'll pull you over and they'll check your fucking bank account, and if they think you had too much money, well, guess what? It's theirs now, because anybody with too much money must be doing something bad, right? I don't care if you said you were saving for 10 years for a vacation or some shit. Nah, you selling
Saving
the crack.
for a-
You
yeah,
selling the
exactly.
crack cocaine. You running the guns to the children. To the children, Dad. To the children.
So at a meeting with county sheriffs on February 7th, President Trump made it clear to law enforcement officials that he's a strong supporter of the civil asset forfeiture program. No shit, considering he's made trillions off of the government. Or made billions off of the government, whatever, you know what I mean. Told the Justice Department to rescind the Obama administration restrictions. So basically we're getting back into the government just thinking it can do whatever the hell it wants.
When did it ever get away from that, Dan?
Yeah, never.
Hmm?
Never.
Got a date?
Nope.
Hey, if you know when the government got away from completely fucking you at every chance they can, please give us a call, 757-528-8130. We got time for you to tell us why and when and how.
Yeah, what's the difference between the government and a hooker?
You get something from
The
the hooker?
government quit. The hooker quits screwing you after you're dead.
Yeah, you get something. You get something in return from the hooker for your
Yeah,
money.
exactly. So,
Oh, what's this Putin to Pope?
oh yeah, we promised you guys some Putin news. So Putin's trolling the Democrats and the Pope.
Oh man, you know what? I gotta find it. I gotta find it now.
Yeah, you really do.
I think it's up there. It's up there. It's all good. What's it say, Dan? President Putin has slammed Pope Francis for pushing a political ideology instead of running a church, and warned that the leader of the Catholic Church is not a man of God. Oh, shit.
So yeah,
Pope Francis is using his platform to push a dangerous far-left political ideology on vulnerable people around the world. People who trust him because of his position, Putin said. If you look at what he, the Pope, says, it's clear that he is not a man of God. At least not the Christian God. Not the God of the Bible. Putin knows the Bible. Believe me, you.
Oh, I'm sure.
He said this at the Naval Cathedral of St. Nicholas in Kronstadt. He dreams of a world government and of a global communist system of repression. Putin or the Pope? I don't know. As we have seen before in communist states, this system is not compatible with Christianity. The Pope has become increasingly brazen this year in pushing the globalist agenda and far-left talking points upon the masses. Earlier this year, he called for a global central bank and a financial authority. And more recently, he said, Americans need to be ruled by a world government as soon as possible for their own good. What the fuck, man?
You know, I'm not on enough drugs for this song or this article.
The song's off now, man.
Yeah, I know. But what's it? But it really does kind of seem like Putin's just trolling everybody.
No, dude, like, all of a sudden, Putin's some, like, you know, maybe Putin is the alliance, right? Is that why Trump and him are such good friends? No?
Nah, I
Crickets?
don't think so.
Crickets on that one?
But yeah, I don't know. What's even funnier than that, I think, is him coming out and saying that Russia reportedly claims that the U.S. is trying to influence its upcoming presidential vote. The Interfax news agency cited Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov as saying that the U.S. was looking to create chaos in Russia. Suka blyat! Russian citizens are due to head to the ballot box on March 18th, with the latest opinion polls indicating that Putin is going to bring in about 200% of the vote. Many Western observers are skeptical about the democratic merit of Russia's electoral process in general. Russia claims to have evidence that the U.S. has attempted to interfere in Moscow's forthcoming presidential vote. The RAA news agency quoted Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov, suka blyat, as we were saying on Monday.
Suka blyat.
The Interfax news agency cited suka blyat as saying that the U.S. was looking to create chaos. He also added that U.S. imposed sanctions were primarily aimed at destabilizing the country. Ryabkov provided no evidence to support these claims. Not like he really needs to, because, as we know, we've been screwing around with everybody else's elections for a long time. So, Putin's just trolling, man. But
Putin is the mega troll, man. Did you ever see that Putin Thug Life video where he's in there with all them billionaire industrialists and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you ever see the one where the femin activist goes running up to him, like with her shirt off, screaming some feminist nonsense, and Putin's just like, "Hey, nice tits," and fucking security guards run up and tackle her, but not before he gives her 2 thumbs up.
If he wasn't such an iron fist dumb douchebag, man, I'd actually kind of like him. But that's about it for tonight, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and leave you.
Well, before we do that, I think that one last thing, and this,
okay,
and it involves all things Russian. Nikolai Glushkov, found in dead of London with strangulation marks, is linked to killer of Alexander Litvinenko.
And that was the radiation guy?
Yeah, link between the strangled Kremlin critic and former KGB agent blamed for the polonium poisoning raises more questions over death. A former KGB agent was accused of poisoning Russian defector Alexander Litvinenko. Was last night linked to a Russian businessman found dead in London. Russian airline mogul Nikolai Glushkov, 68, was found with strangulation marks in his home in New Malden by his daughter Natalia on Monday night. So who knows what kind of dodgy shit these guys were.
And they're always killing them damn Russian spies every 5 fucking seconds, man.
Yeah, you'd think that life expectancy for Russians would go up if they left Russia, but apparently that's not the case. What we know so far, Theresa May announced that she was going to kick out 23 diplomats in the wake of the Sergei Skripal case. The Russian embassy has responded by calling the expulsion unacceptable, unjustified, and short-sighted. The Prime Minister also confirmed that government officials and members of the royal family would not be attending the World Cup in Russia. Vladimir Putin ignored a deadline set by the PM to explain his involvement in the poisoning and instead warned Britain not to threaten a nuclear power.
I told you, boy.
Skripal and daughter Yulia remain in critical condition in hospital after being exposed to a nerve agent in Salisbury on March 4th. Another cordon has been set up 25 miles away in Gillingham, Dorset. Russian exiles have now been asked by cops to help identify a mystery couple aged between 35 and 40 seen close to Skripal and his daughter before they collapsed. Russian exile Nikolai Glushkov was discovered dead with strangulation marks. Anti-terror cops are now investigating the 68-year-old's unexplained death because of the associations he reportedly have.
Monarch super soldier assets?
You know, who knows? It makes me wonder if the Russian government doesn't have their own, secret space program stuff going on up there. I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they're involved in some.
Stargate SG-1 basically told us as much. But let's see. Police are probing who then targeted Sergei Skripal and his daughter, with Miss May pointing the finger at Russia and giving Vladimir Putin a deadline to explain his country's involvement, to which Putin responded, there is no suggesting that the Salisbury poisoning was linked to that of Glushkov, whose home has been taken over by forensics teams. Russian newspaper Kommersant, owned by Arsenal shareholder Alisher Usmanov, reported that there are traces of strangulation on his neck.
Traces.
I hate it when I have some traces of strangulation on my neck.
That's like a.
So we're gonna keep following this story.
Yeah.
We're gonna post more of it at on the Reality Reef page. I think it's interesting.
If you want to read the rest of that,
it goes to show that the same spy fuckery that's been going on for the last 50, 60 years is still going on just as hard as ever.
if you want to read more of that, it's on the sun.co.uk. So.
Yep.
But that brings us to the end of the show. And
Is this our new closing music?
This is something I want to leave you guys with.
If they saw my
Thanks for watching, guys. You have a good night.
I